All right, I'm going to first just want to say, hey everybody. I'm going to try to make this a quick video, and I'm going to try not to cry. So I'm sitting up today because I have a lot of stuff to do with Abigail's, and I'm getting, stuff ready for a event that I'm doing. My son is here visiting me before he goes back to Tennessee to live. He came here earlier this year. He relocated this year, and so he's moving back. And so I'm thinking about him, and I'm thinking about my other son, and I'm thinking about how, at this point, I'm, in my thoughts, I'm getting emotional. I'm talking to God, and I'm thinking about how I'm gonna miss him, and just thinking about just how it was raising them as a single parent. And just, a lot of, thoughts through my, was just coming through my mind. And so I'm just thinking to myself, talking to God, and anybody that knows me, they know that I am a proponent on, don't just say that you're a certain way. Well, I do, this just me, we all have a why. We all have a why. Why do I do this? Why do I act a certain way when this happens? Why am I triggered by this? And why am I triggered? We all have a why. We just don't come here with this is just who I am, and that's, if folks can't get it, then that's just too bad. No. We all have a why. So as I'm sitting up and I'm thinking, I'm like, man, my sons and my babe, these are my babies. They're grown now. They're 25 and 29. And I'm thinking about this world that we live in and how I'm constantly concerned about their safety because things are crazy out here, and it's not to say that I don't have my faith in God. I do, but I'm a mother. I carried them kids for 9 months. Okay, I carried them for 9 months. So they mean a lot to me. So I'm going to worry. If you find one mother that doesn't worry about her children, something wrong with her. She got some stuff going on. But anyway, I'm thinking, and I'm, thinking about how, man, I've always wanted boys. I've never wanted girls. I've always said, I don't, even when I was pregnant with my first son, before I knew he was a boy, I was like, ooh, please don't let this be a girl. Had a boy. Second one came along. Please don't be a girl. Had a boy. So I'm sitting up here thinking, I'm thinking about my sons and how much I love them and things. And a voice just says, well, Trish, the reason why you never had or never wanted girls is because you were afraid that they would be just like you. And I kid you not, and I'm going to try not to cry right now, but I kid you not, in that moment, I broke down. I broke down crying because it was true. It was true. I started thinking about all the things that I went through as a young lady, as a woman. Certain situations that I put myself in, because that's not to say I'm not absolving the other person's place in what happened, but I have to be accountable for my actions and what I did and how I went about things. And so I'm sitting up and I'm thinking, and I'm like, oh my goodness, because here I was coming to the United States from Liberia. I was born in Africa, born in Liberia, little girl, little 4-year-old girl, still had the thick accent, being teased because I looked different, I sound different. I felt that I was ugly. Nobody liked me. Me and my sister, we were bullied all the time. So all these things started, coming. And my mother, God bless her. I love my mother. I loved her. But my mother was a hard woman. She wasn't soft. Hey, son. She wasn't soft and delicate. My mother was hard. She was to the point. So by me discussing these things with my mother, her stance on it was always, you know who you are, where you come from, you don't worry about stuff like that. But that's not what I needed at the time. I needed her softness. I needed her nurturing. Okay. So I'm thinking about all these things that happened, you know, as I got a little bit older, the things that I had to go through as a woman to be safe. And that's not to say, you know, I don't want folks thinking that I'm bashing men. I'm not. I love men. Okay. But I was thinking about the different things that transpired with me being in safe spaces and trying to be in safe spaces and having to put up with things of, you know, hey, if you want to continue to keep this job, well, what you gonna do for me? So me literally sometimes having to leave jobs because of different, you know, because of what somebody thought that, you know, hey, she's in a situation, she really needs this job, so I know I can get her to do whatever it is I want her to do if she wants to keep this job. No, left. So I'm thinking about all these different things and this voice telling me this is why you never wanted daughters. Because I was afraid that they were going to go through the same things that I went through. And I wouldn't be able to nurture them and give them what they needed so that they could be okay. So I figured if I have boys are harder. You don't have to be soft. You don't have to be. And that was my rationale. That was my thinking. That was my why. And all this just came, I was like, what is going on? I'm sitting in my kitchen. I'm cleaning my containers for my, you know, for Abigail's, and I'm just doing stuff, and I just stopped and I'm just crying. I'm bawling my eyes out because it hit me on why I felt the way that I did about not wanting to have daughters, because I was afraid. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to give them what they needed. I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to be soft and be nurturing. And I was afraid. And I figured boys would be much easier. That's a lie, because them boys was something else. But I said all that to say this. A lot of us are walking around here on this earth with a lot of baggage. With a lot of baggage that we do not want to claim. A lot of baggage that we don't want to deal with. That baggage is your why. That baggage is your why you're always angry. That baggage is why you're promiscuous. That baggage is why you're in and out of relationships. That baggage is, why don't I love me? Why don't I like me? All that baggage that you leaving behind, or that you trying, you know, that you think you leaving behind, but you're dragging it. Everywhere you go, you dragging it. You dragging it to a new job. You dragging it into a relationship. You dragging it into conversations with family members, and you dragging it right into church with you. Yep, I said church. Yeah, I said it. You dragging it with you. Because in your head, because you don't want to deal with it, because in your head you're thinking, well, I'm just this way because it's just the way how I am, and that's it. That's just the way. No, we all have a why. We all have a why. And it's your responsibility and nobody else's to figure out why you do the things you do. Why? And I just wanted to share that because I just, you know, I just had that moment. Like, where is this coming from? What is going on here? You know, and daily, and I always tell people this daily. I ain't perfect. Never claim to be. You know, I'm working on it. But daily, we out here. We out here. These young men that's out here, these young men, they going through something. They're going through something. Either they didn't have their father in their life, or either they didn't have their mother in their life, or if they did have their mother in their life, it was dysfunctional, or if they did have their father in their life, it was dysfunctional, or maybe they were raised in the state, or maybe they were It's so many layers to why our young people, women and men, and especially within the Black community, why we're going through so many things, why we feel the way we do about certain things, why we, and I'm not saying it's just because look, I don't know everybody. But what I have learned is that when I run into somebody or have an encounter with somebody and it's this persona about them, or they're doing certain things, or they're acting a certain way, first thing that comes to my mind is, I wonder why they're acting like this. I wonder what happened to them. What transpired in their life to cause them to treat their body like this? What baggage are they dragging around that's causing them to act the way that they act, or do the things that they do, or say the things that they say? So just think about it. Think about your why. Don't just have in your, this is just me, and it's just the way that I'm gonna do the. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's just a wall that you're putting up. That's a facade. That's to keep you from going into that baggage and finding out why. Because you're afraid to. You're afraid of what you're going to find out. You're afraid that you may not be able to deal with it. You're afraid that other people may find out about it. But I'm going to tell you something. I am a strong believer in God. Strong believer in God. And with that baggage, you take that baggage to Him. And you ask Him to help you work through it. You ask Him to help you work through it so that you can be the better you, so that you can be a better servant. If you're not a servant, maybe this will help you to be a servant of God. But you have to go through that baggage and find out your why. It's not just happenstance. There's a reason. There's a reason. So in my tears, I'm crying. I'm like, oh my goodness, because my son was outside. I'm like, oh good Lord, don't let him come in here and he see me crying and he ain't gonna know what to do. And just all these different thoughts is going through my head. But find out your why. We all have a past. And there may be some people who want to keep you in your past after you've moved on. But that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. Because there are going to be some people who know your past and recognize the change in you as you're figuring out your why. And you can be a testimony unto them. You feel what I'm saying? So you find out your why. Because if you keep holding on to it, you'll mess up your marriage. You'll mess up your job. You'll mess up relationships with family members. You'll mess up relationships with your children. All because you walking around here saying, well, I got this attitude because this. No. You didn't come here with that attitude. We don't come here with foul mouths and bad attitudes and drug problems. Now you do have some children that are born addicted, but the point that I'm making is something along the way happened. Something along the way happened, and it's up to you. If you want to be a better you, if you want to be a better wife, if you want to be a better husband, if you want to be a better daughter, if you want to be a better sister, if you want to be a better employee, whatever you want, you need to unpack your baggage and take it to God and ask Him to help you work through it. Because this wasn't His plan for you. This wasn't His plan for man. His plan for man was perfection. Perfection like him. He made us in his image. So I'm going to end it at that, and because I got a lot more work to do. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. Find out your why. Don't take the easy way out. Don't take the easy way out and say this is just because. No, it's not. No, it's not. It never was. It never was. I don't care if you got to go to therapy. You know, my first, like I said before, you know, ask the Lord to help to work you through it. But there's nothing wrong with therapy. There's nothing wrong with keeping a journal. There's nothing wrong with figuring out why. Why? And take care of that. Because God wants you to be a better you. He made you in his image. He made you in his image. So you got to step up to the plate so that you can heal yourself from all that other stuff. From all that other stuff. And it's going to take time. It ain't going to, you know, a few months, I'm fine. No. I'm still working through stuff. I'm still working through stuff. I'm still working through stuff with my sons. And now that they're older, we have, you know, my goodness, the conversations that we have. Oh my goodness. And I thank God for that. I thank God for that. But I'm going to let y'all go because, like I said, I got some other stuff I have to do. But I just wanted to share that. Figure out your why and work on it so that you can become a better you. All right. Love y'all. Y'all have a good rest of the day.